And so this fascinated me so much that I thought, I think I'll just start blogging about it. And so I started it separate to a lead agent because I wanted to have the flexibility to be able to just write one sentence or 2 pages and not have to worry about the lead agent brand. So that's how it started.
Right. Yeah. No, it's awesome. I've learned a lot just reading. Over the last couple of days, reading the AI powered agent kind of website blog that you've got there. Um, but I guess, like, just for anyone who else doesn't know, your expertise is in both AI and real estate. And so today, we're lucky enough for you to kind of share your insights on how agents can be harnessing the power of AI in their real estate business. And I thanks for the little bit of intro, but do you mind giving us maybe a little bit more, people who don't know, a little bit about yourself, your background, and kind of how you got involved in the real estate space?
That is a very long story. But I started life, well, way long ago as an accountant and hated accounting. I thought it was really boring. But I went to work for an accounting firm in their technology division. And that, I guess, started my love of technology, like back when I was very, very young and probably too young for the role that I'd been given. But I ended up sort of embracing that and kind of, then I went to work for some lawyers, and then sort of moved up the ranks through places like British Telecom, Cisco, and places like that. I ended up in the real estate industry because I enjoyed writing, actually. And the truth of the matter was, at the time, I was a single mother and just needed a second job, which happens to everyone every now and then in their lives. And stayed. Like, I really loved how innovative the real estate industry is, and it ended up sort of building my own magazine. So yeah.
And you could say it's somewhat successful.
It's done all right.
It's absolutely amazing. I thought, well, to kick things off, Samantha, can you give us a bit of an overview on, I guess, which aspects of residential real estate are, are evolving or are being disrupted by AI, and or are due to be disrupted by AI? Then we sort of start.
Yeah, I think like, I don't know, I'd prefer to refer to as acceleration. Like, I think artificial intelligence is an accelerant, not a replacement. And never was that been so clear to me as when ChatGPT was launched last year, and I thought, I'm going to have to go and find myself a new job, because I'd started playing with it and testing it, and I thought, what sort of a job is there going to be for copywriters moving forward? Like, like, I'm not a copywriter, but of course, like, I was playing with it, and I thought, this can write way more quickly than me. And then that kind of made me tweak to the fact, well, if it can write more quickly than me, and if I can give it instructions, then maybe it can superpower me rather than replacing me. And I do think it's very similar for the real estate, for real estate professionals, real estate salespeople, property managers, leaders. It doesn't matter what sort of role that you take on. I think the tools that you've got now. I mean, what an incredible time to be alive. To be able to witness this. Like, I think this is as big as the internet, like, which I still believe in. Like, back in the 80s, when we had dial-up modems and things like that, we would never have dreamt that we would have things like Shopify, and be able to order goods and services like that. We couldn't have dreamt that that was possible back then. And I think we're in a very similar phase, a very similar industrial revolution, if you like, with AI. Now AI has become mainstream. You don't have to be wealthy to use ChatGPT, because there is a free version of it, and it can actually give you superpowers that make you able to communicate on someone who's completed a university degree, without going to university. So some people are saying it's a bit of a democratization of technology, because remember the old brick phones,
Mm.
um, like that Michael Douglas had in Wall Street and things like that. Like, you had to be rich to be able to afford that. You don't have to be rich to be able to use ChatGPT. And there's no learning curve, because we're used to being on on chatbots with, I would say maybe Telecom New Zealand, energy providers, things like that. Like we've as humans, we've spent hours. So the things that that we're able to do now with these, it's amazing, and there's no learning curve. So I say, like, what a time to be alive.
100%. And so what areas have you seen that, like, AI will start disrupting the real estate space? Like, where do you think it's going to be disrupting and making
Uh,
change?
yeah, well, I think you can already do like a bunch of stuff quicker, like for example, just a standard listing description. Yes, you can type into Chat GPT, please write me a listing description for whatever address it happens to be. It's not going to give you a wonderful result from that prompt. But if you sort of dig into building blocks and things like that of Chat GPT, it can give you a pretty good listing description, like that can be targeted towards a particular buyer. And this is where I think AI will superpower agents like tools like ChatGPT. You'll be able to get through your emails a whole lot quicker. You'll be able to create video a whole lot smarter. You'll be able to target buyers and sellers a whole lot better. So there's a bunch of things already that smart agents are doing here now that, we've been working on for months now, which are actually saving them hours and hours and hours of time. So again, like, I don't know whether it's can I show you a picture maybe?
Yes, yes.
Um there,
Go,
there was a
yes,
Can you see my screen?
yes, we can see your screen. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a recent study by Harvard University. They studied some consultants at Boston Consulting Group, and they were young. They'd just come into the firm, and they figured out that the ones that used AI, like tools like ChatGPT and Claude or whatever large language model you want to use, versus the ones that did not use AI, were, the tasks that they delivered were of better quality, and they delivered them quicker. And these were the results. So the people that used AI finished tasks 12.2% faster, which is, pretty amazing. Um, they finished them 25% faster, and they finished them with a 40% higher quality. So these numbers are pretty telling on what AI can do for agents.
Yes.
So if you think about it in terms of, is an agent plus AI more powerful than an agent without I would say yes, every day of the week. And to answer your question on jobs, I mean, this is a non-exhaustive jobs list at the moment, because we can do heaps of other things. But listing descriptions is the obvious one. Scripts and dialogues, like I've on my blog, AI Powered Agents, I've made ChatGPT run dialogue conversations between each other. Brainstorming things like video topics, writing letters to your clients, writing your newsletter. So, and I think this is a big one. Like if you've got a weekly newsletter, it's much easier to touch a database of 20,000 people each week with valuable content in a newsletter with ChatGPT than without it. Because with ChatGPT, you're not starting with a blank screen or a blank template. It gives you the ideas really quickly. And then, just down to things like, pimping your profiles, responding to emails, like property managers. I don't know if we've got any property managers on here, but shout out to all the property managers. They have to say no nicely to a lot of people a lot of the time, right? That's sometimes a bit of a thankless job, right? And ChatGPT can actually help you respond to that email. Like my favorite prompt is with a high EQ, because that takes into account the other person's feelings, because you would know, and property managers will know, a situation can go from like normal to DEFCON 11 really quickly. But, ChatGPT can sort of calm the conflict as well. So, there's a bunch of other stuff, like, and I would like to think of it as superpowering,
Yeah.
to the point where you should be saving. And I mean, I can tell you in my business, like we had 5 people last year, and this year we've got 2.5.
Wow. And you can do the same output.
Sorry?
And you're producing the same output as you were.
Well, we're not producing a magazine anymore, but we've actually increased our output in other areas.
Wow.
And have better lives. So, we're not sort of working 16 hours a day anymore, only working 12. So, yeah. But if that gives you some sort of an idea of, like the areas in which now, but I mean, in the future, like Brad Inman's got this famous quote, our imaginations aren't big enough to see what's coming. Because like I said, if, back when we had dial-up modems, could we imagine, things like Shopify and Facebook and things like that, or even, like I couldn't have even imagined ChatGPT a year ago. And now we've got all of these AI tools that are coming at us thick and fast that it's almost impossible to keep up.
Oh, it is impossible to keep up. A website you've probably used it. I can't remember the name of the website, but it brings updates of some new AI tools. Well, outside of ChatGPT, I was just thinking, how else can agents be using AI in the real estate space? We've got helping them be more efficient with their time, improving their speed in terms of delivering certain outputs using ChatGPT. What other areas of AI is being used in the real estate space to make a better experience for the buyers and the sellers?
Yeah, I wonder could we go to the chat box and ask people on the webinar, like, are you using AI or Chat GPT at the moment? What are you using it for? And has it been good to you? Because I reckon that Chat GPT has gone through a few ebbs and flows, like particularly in the last 6 months. It sort of seems really smart, and then it kind of gets an upgrade and seems like a bit, it's gone backwards a bit. But I'd be really interested to see into the chat box.
Yeah.
Are your audience chatterboxes? I know mine are.
We're not. I'm not sure. Let's see, guys. Anyone in the Q&A? How you're using AI in your business?
Yeah. How are you using AI? Are you using AI? Well, while we're getting some answers here, there's a few tools that that I have used and love. So let's just say, for example, sometimes putting these webinars together takes a fair bit of time, right? You've got to prepare, and then you've got to go and get yourself camera ready. If you're like me, it takes you hours to do your hair and all of that sort of thing. But there are some tools out there at the moment. One of them is a tool called Hey Jen, where you can actually create an avatar of yourself, and it will create videos. So, no camera, no problem. So if you're having a bad hair day or something like that, then you don't have to worry about it. There's another tool that I've been using, which I'm trying to sort of think about the application in real estate. It's called air.ai. So this is actually, I don't know if any of you guys remember the Google, that Google hairdresser conversation from way back. But this is kind of like,
hey, James. I'm not it, man. Yeah, no worries. I hate calls out of the blue too, but I'm actually from Apple, and I saw you were checking out Vision Pro and were about to pre-order, but left the penny. And I'm curious, what had you looking into potential? Okay, I can respect that. Can I just ask one question before you go?
It's fine. Shoot, what's up?
Why did you decide not to pre-order the Vision Pros? I saw you changed your mind last minute.
So I'll leave it.
They're crazy expensive. I'm gonna get the Medic one.
So you guys can go and have a look at that on your own. I'll leave that there. But imagine life where you didn't have to make callbacks, where you had an AI to do it.
Honestly, I think it's going to be that way. I think every agent's going to have their own AI assistant who's going to be helping them out with all sorts of tasks. Would that be fair?
Well, yeah, it's all sorts of tasks. And I mean, the one that you might have just seen flick up there, flythroughs.ai, So drone photography is really popular here. I'm sure it is there as well. But then you've got to get a photographer and a drone license and all the things that go along with it. This tool is available on the App Store, and you can actually just walk around and create a video, and it will turn it into a 3D fly through, like a drone video. So that's that's something which I think is pretty amazing. All sorts of things like Captions app. Let's just say that you're not fantastic at ad-libbing on camera. Captions app will not only act as your teleprompter, but let's just say you've got notes off to the side like this. I think you have notes over here, and you might be reading from them. Captions app will actually correct your eye line.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, just some of the stuff that you can do, and they're little things that you can kind of build into your day that just make each job that you do go quicker.
So I can be, so basically, just to summarize what you, in terms of captions app, I can be looking off the screen slightly, reading my captions, but when I run it through the AI, it's going to bring my eyes back, and it's going to make it look like I'm speaking directly to the camera, but I'm actually, my eyes are looking off the camera. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. And there's another tool called Descript, which will do it as well. But yeah, that's a big thing. And then, the other thing is the multilingual thing. So anyone that happens to follow me on LinkedIn would have seen me speaking French, German, Italian, Hindi. That actually wasn't me. I haven't become a polyglot overnight. But what's incredible about the AI tools that are translators at the moment is that it's not the Bruce Lee thing. Like, remember the old overdub with Bruce Lee, and it'd be like you'd hear the sound and then there'd be like different lip movements. The AI is so good now that not only is the accent incredible in my voice, but it's synced up the way that my face is moving as well.
Absolutely amazing.
Which I mean, if you've got clients who are English is not their first language, or you're onboarding team members or talking to overseas buyers, things like that. It's just pretty mind-blowing stuff.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to kind of summarize. So we've got captions app, Air AI, Paging, Fly Through, Descript. These are all things that we can get after, but there's probably 100, 200 more other real estate related tool AI out there, if not more.
Yeah, there are a million tools, that are, and some of them, like, this is the thing, some of them will survive this, explosion in things, and some of them won't. And so, I think what we've all got to be prepared for in this, in this interesting time that we're in right now is that, what works one day, as I said, ChatGPT goes through phases of being really good and then not so good and then really good and not so good, is going in there with the attitude of, that doesn't work anymore. This is all crap, is probably not going to fly. What we need to do is we need to think, well, that didn't work. How else can I do it? Or that tool's not available anymore, or that tool's not working well. What else is new? Because these tools will get infinitely better as time goes on.
I know, and the difference between, say, ChatGPT 4 and 3.5 is also immense. So if anyone's who's using ChatGPT 3.5, it's probably well worth upgrading to 4, because I think once you go to 4, you wouldn't go back, I wouldn't think. Samantha, I've got another question in regards to, like, as AI evolves, and maybe we're talking more around the ChatGPT side of things, but where do you see agents kind of making some mistakes, or where are they falling down when they start to use ChatGPT? Like, where do you see the issues happening?
Most of it comes down to too many emojis, because if you post something with too many emojis on social media, then we know you've done it by ChatGPT. I would say that there's 3 things that you need to be aware of if you're using large language models, and this is what I say to all of my students, is you've got 3 non-negotiable rules of engagement with these AI tools. Number 1 is it's always a first draft. So don't ever, sort of get a blog post or a social media post out of ChatGPT and just Control-C, Control-V, because, we're getting to a point now where I think people are sort of looking at things with a bit of a squinty eye and going, is that ChatGPT? So that's number one. The second one is always double check your facts, because ChatGPT does make stuff up. Like, ChatGPT is there to sound plausible. And if it sounds plausible, whether it's true or not, sometimes that's a response it will give you. So I think there was one, like we had this fun facts section in the bottom of the brief of the morning, and one day it told us that, men at work won a lawsuit when in fact they lost it. So, just because what it was saying sounded quite plausible, and then you'll go, are you sure? And then it goes, yeah, no, sorry about that. Like, I'll try again. And I think the other one, this one might be the most important one, this implement the spend save mindset. So if you save a heap of time with AI, and then you go spend it on the golf course, improving your swing, number one, more power to you. But number two, it's not going to actually, get you any closer to being more competitive or winning more business or anything like that. Like, I really do think that the time that you save with AI, you need to spend on the more human aspects of the job of a real estate agent, which is spending more time with your clients, engaging more with their content, and, making more calls, actually doing the things that the AI can't do, which is, sort of face-to-face communications.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. And so one of the mistakes you're saying agents make is they're just literally copying and pasting directly from ChatGPT, and it's very obvious. Would that be?
I think it's not just agents. I think it's everyone. I'm not going to. Yeah. I think it's like, wow, this is amazing. Like, just, particularly, when it comes to things like SEO and stuff like that. But I don't know that, Google can copy detect things. And I think these days, Google's saying if it's useful content, that it's not going to penalize anyone. But I still think that you've got to go through and make it your own and add your little bits of flavor and things like that. And certainly, like, at Elite Agent, we'll use ChatGPT to shortcut some things, but we'll always sort of add some human flair to it so that it looks human.
Yes, that makes the most complete sense. Do you have any little quick cheats on how to use ChatGPT to get the most out of it? Like, I think I saw a video of yours on AI-powered agents where you can kind of stuff a frame, so it's always notice what you're talking about. Like, I can't remember, it's in the settings or something like that.
Yeah, so
powerful for agents to probably understand is they can have default set up for them.
Yeah, custom instructions. I think what you need to understand about all large language models, so whether you're using Google's Bard or whether you're using ChatGPT or whether you're using Claude, and Claude's the new man in my life. I think that it's better than all of them. Yeah, at the moment, I'm quite enamored by Claude. But
where do we find Mr. Claude on the internet?
Claude is just I think it's Claude.ai.
Is it GPT powered, or is it completely different language?
It's a competitor, actually. It's a competitor to, like, some open AI employees went away and created Claude because they wanted, I think they're saying more responsible AI, as in we'll tell you when we don't know the answer rather than making stuff up like ChatGPT does.
Yeah.
So, and also the advantage with Claude is it has a much bigger window of being able to summarize things. So if you've got a long meeting or a long video that you want to summarize or a long transcript, Claude is your man. I don't know whether Claude is a man or not, but I'd like to imagine that. But back to your earlier question, I think what you've got to understand about these large language models is they work in building blocks. And I know that this is probably, pretty bright for the screen, but the more building blocks and the more succinct you can be with your prompts, the better the response you'll get. So if you say, write me a blog post on the Gold Coast, that uses, the blog post is the task and the context is the Gold Coast. So I want a blog post on the Gold Coast. But if I give ChatGPT a role, which is another building block, and you might not be able to see that one, but if I say, act as a real estate agent and now write me a blog post on the Gold Coast, you're going to get a better response than you did with 2 building blocks. And then if you say, well, write me a blog post on the Gold Coast, you're a real estate agent, and I want you to use the style of, in a style of, say, James Bond or Jerry Seinfeld or whatever. So now you're actually giving it some flavor. And I mean, and it could actually be your own style as well. So you can actually train ChatGPT up to write like you. And then there's a bunch of other sort of building blocks. And this is kind of what we go into in AI-powered agents. So you can have different tones, goals, you can provide background info, you can tell ChatGPT target audience, some interesting things like negative words, seed words, templates. They're particularly useful when it comes to things like Facebook advertising. Like you can put some information and say, give it back to me in this format. And then you don't have to go thinking of your headline and things like that. Yep. So, it's almost like, yes, we can converse with these large language models because we're used to typing things into a command line. But if you understand, what's underneath, which is, it is actually just a software package like Palace or any of those things. If you can understand how to work these prompts, then you'll often get a better answer in 1 prompt rather than 5.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. What you put on and how clear and the instructions you provide, the better the output that you get back. So I guess you're saying any agent has had some poor experiences with ChatGPT. It's not necessarily that ChatGPT isn't good. It might just be the fact that prompt wasn't detailed enough or didn't provide enough context or information to allow it to give you the right output.
I think Tony Robbins famously said the quality of your life will be dictated by the quality of your questions. And never in the history of the universe has this been more the case because the quality of what you put into these large language models will largely determine what comes back at you.
Yes, that makes complete sense. And that's what I've experienced and how I've been using ChatGPT, and it has saved me a significant amount of time. And it's exciting to see the amount of time agents will be able to save if they're not already using it, but if they start changing it. What would be some advice that you would give an agent who, for example, maybe they've played around with it a little bit, but like where should they go to learn or get more insights into AI and become more, adapt this kind of learning mindset to new technologies? Are there some websites you recommend, like a mindset? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, a couple. Like I would definitely, well, first of all, AI powered agents is mine. And so if you want something that's specifically tailored to the real estate industry, most of my prompts are. But if you wanted to just look at AI in general, there's a guy by the name of Matt Wolf that I follow. His website's called futuretools.io. And he also is a YouTuber now. So he has some great news wraps and things like that about what's happening with AI at like a helicopter level, which, I do think that the way to stay current is to stay immersed in it, and just rather than, sort of, my dad always used to say to me, never turn your back on the surf. I think it's the same thing. Like, don't turn your back on this because, it will like literally impact everything. It's like electricity, like it's not like, you think electricity just silently sits in the background and powers a lot of the things that you see around me. Like it's powering the light, it's powering the computer, it's powering the microphones, all that sort of thing, but it's humming in the background and you don't really see it. That's what AI will be like. It'll be humming in the background. You won't really see it, but it will be superpowering every move that you make in the future. And so the more that you understand how to get the most out of it, the more you will get out of it.
Yes, makes complete sense. And what I'd love to everyone to do, like, while we've got Samantha on this call for the last 10 minutes, please just drop some questions for Samantha in the Q&A chat. But while you guys are thinking of some questions, ask Samantha. I've got one question for you, and that is, what do you think the real estate profession? What do you think the real estate buying and selling journey will look like in 2040? And in 16 years' time, what will we be doing? Will agents still be around? Obviously, who knows? But your thoughts?
What a huge question. I don't have a crystal ball, but if we take a little look at the buyer-seller journey, like I think the buyer-seller journey looks something like this these days, is that you're either in real estate mode or you're not in real estate mode as a consumer. So, and starting with, I'm not thinking of selling, which was me back in June this year, absolutely not thinking of selling. And then there'll be a trigger moment which says, okay, maybe I'm going to do something different. And that trigger moment for me was coming back from Bali, where, Mark and I were sitting next to each other on the plane thinking, we're not happy in this house, let's fix it up and sell it. And then all of a sudden, you go into these questions, do I need to sell? I'm selling. And you go through that. Yeah, that's the seller's journey, I guess. And the buyer's journey is very similar. Like, I'm moved and I'm not thinking about anything, but something will happen. You'll get broken into, or something else will happen with the house. Something won't get fixed, and then all of a sudden, it's all on. Let's see what's out there, and then you'll go through some sort of a buyer's journey. That happened to me as well a couple of years ago. Like, we bought this place. It was a bit of a knee-jerk reaction to somebody putting the rent up on me. So I just went, I don't want to be a tenant anymore. I'm going to go and buy somewhere. And so, again, so what I would say is, number one is these trigger moments, are key to your marketing as a real estate agent. And you can't know when someone's going to get triggered. But what you need to bear in mind, and this is, the whole marketing theory behind being there when somebody does hit that trigger moment of I'm in real estate mode. And this is why things like, your traditional things like social media ads, newsletter, flyers, things like that, like if you're providing great information to these people and you're using AI to help you do that at scale, then that's going to be a good thing. Yeah. Sorry, do you want me to slow down there for a sec?
Perfect. That's amazing.
And so then, if you came over here to the seller's journey, the do I need to sell, then, I guess you're going to have the ability, and this is, again, I'm putting myself as a consumer, I'm putting my consumer hat on here. Do I need to sell? Well, then, maybe I'm using some sort of AI to analyze how much in mortgage payments I've made. Is there a better decision for me? Should I refinance? Should I do something else? And that will be driven by AI as well. And then it comes to I'm selling. So how do I choose a real estate agent? Probably there's going to be even, I know real estate agents is sort of one of the most, visible people in terms of performance, at least in Australia, because you've got ratings and reviews, you've got REA stuff, you've got, people can see how many properties you've sold. But it won't take long for someone to come up with a tool that combines Rate My Agent with REA, with Domain, with and then go, all right, this, or, what sort of percentage of a premium has this person got in general across every property they've sold? Because if AI is the new electricity, then data must be the new oil. And so AI's ability to crunch through these numbers and actually pop up, the person that it thinks is the best will be quite significant. And then you've got, other areas of the transaction, like, I think that will become easier, maybe not AI because it already is through things like DocuSign and things like that. But, and then the moving process, well, I don't think AI can really help with that because that's going to suck no matter what sort of a technology sort of cycle we're in. So you can see, like, if you pull apart the buyer seller journey, you can see different parts of, on the buyer side, it might be something completely different. So, it might be things like staging, like as you're looking for a home. Our garage in particular, like, I'm very proud of our garage that we've just renovated. It could be a photography studio, it could be a cinema, it could be a home office, it could be a teenage retreat. Like, we've just left it blank. But I do think that virtual staging will be a thing. Like, consumers will want to put their own furniture and their own thoughts into different spaces, and AI is very capable of doing that right now, and that will only get better.
Yeah. So basically, like, go into their house and look at the photos, and then maybe virtually stage it themselves.
Yeah, if there's already tools there, so virtualstaging.ai, interiors.ai. It's very, very easy to get that feel for how a house might look. And then, like, I'd actually been thinking to myself, with my house in particular, like, there's different demographics around the suburb that I live in. So, there would be empty nesters that might be interested in the house. There might be some sort of young up and coming professionals that might be interested because there's a new restaurant precinct being developed down the road. There's a golf course within 5Ks. Would the portals like Trade Me and so on be able to cope with a different listing description based on who was searching? Like things like that we haven't really sort of imagined yet. Probably not out of bounds.
Yeah, not far away at all. It is. We'll watch this space with interest, won't we? It's really exciting, guys. Is there any questions you have for Samantha? While we've still got her here, everyone's probably just been listening and taking it all in and haven't had
or it's just that Australian accent, and she talks so fast.
No.
The question about 2040 is an interesting one, because I've been asked it before, and so what I've attempted to do is I want the AI to tell me what it thinks about real estate in 2040.
Sure.
Is anyone interested in seeing that?
Yeah, I am.
So if we just, like, so I'm gonna use Claude because he's my new man.
Yeah.
But this is the prompt. My goal is to understand how generative AI could change the real estate industry in the near future. Write me 10 different prompts for us to reach this goal, and the outputs that are generated from these prompts. So what I'm saying is, give me 10 ways you think that the real estate industry could end up in 2040. And then I'm asking it to evaluate itself, because the thing about these large language models, and now that we've been chatting for a while, like, I'm going to stretch your brains a little bit, because no challenge, no change. So what I'm asking it to do is learn from its own answers. So let's run it and see what happens. And you can see how quick this is. Like, and this is why I say, what a time to be alive. Like, this sort of research in the past would have taken days, weeks, months. Like, so anyway, let's scroll back up and have a look. So how could generative AI be used to help real estate agents market and sell more properties? So let's see what it thinks. Generative AI could create personalized 3D tours for listings, automate paperwork and contracts, provide data-driven recommendations for pricing and staging. Yep, just talked about that. And generate targeted advertising content. Is it listening to me? You think always listening, but so prompt number 2, in what ways could generative AI disrupt the role of real estate agents? So AI could take over routine tasks like paperwork and showings, enabling agents to focus on higher value work like negotiation and strategy. 100% agree with that. But it may reduce the need for agents if AI can do jobs autonomously. How might generative AI impact home appraisals? So AI could analyze data like comps, market conditions, and property attributes to provide instant, accurate valuation estimates. Yeah, so and that's absolutely possible. And I mean, now that things like ChatGPT actually have sight, like you can upload a photo to ChatGPT and it can tell you things about that photo that you never dreamt possible. Like I was walking around Canberra the other day and I didn't know what fish that were jumping out. You know, I thought they were going to eat me out of Lake Burley Griffin, but I took a photo of this fish and uploaded it, and it said, well, it looks like you're in Canberra, and that's a carp, like, you know, a dolphin-sized carp, but a carp. So, yeah, and I mean, look, the list goes on. Like, so I won't read all of these out, but will real estate lawyers and contractors be replaced? Unlikely, as their roles require complex judgment, but AI might automate parts of the workflows like drafting and design. And, you know, like, and I agree with all that as well. But it's an interesting, if you want that prompt, it's actually on my website. You can run it in ChatGPT or Bard or any of those things, and explore that for yourself.
AI powered agents website to everyone, so they can visit your website after this. Just show.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. AI-poweredagents.com.
So anyone who wants to learn more about AI and how they can use it in real estate, definitely go check out AI-poweredagents.com. How is it going? You've got a lot of people subscribing to that as well.
Yeah, it's been really popular this year, actually, and it's great for interaction as well, because often I'll send out a prompt and people will go and test it and they'll reply to me and they'll say, "Oh, that worked really well," or something like that. Like, we're in this period, I think, where we're all getting to know these new tools that we've got, and you know, fortunately, I've got a really engaged community that really like to sort of they bounce things off one another, and you know, a rising tide lifts all boats.
100%. Well, Samantha, thank you so much. Everyone's been too nervous to jot any questions down, and so we better get up there. For anyone touch with you, Samantha, maybe they want to talk to you about the AI powered agent events in New Zealand, if it's not sold out already. Like, how's the best way they can get in touch with you?
Yeah, Samantha@eliteagent.com, and yeah, come to if you're keen on supercharging and being more productive with AI, come and see me at AI Powered Agents. There's a few seats left for Wellington, and a few more in Auckland. So Wellington is nearly sold out really quick. So jump on it if you can. And for your people listening in today, if you put in the code SAM, just SAM, it'll give you 20% off the ticket.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for allowing that to give that discount.
Thanks for having me. I hope I didn't stretch everyone too hard.
No, super insightful, and thanks so much for the resources. I know a lot of people got deep value on it tonight. So thank you so much, Sam. I really appreciate your time.
All right, lovely. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, guys. Have a good day. Have a good weekend, guys. Bye-bye.